back to the Bleo cast with Blake and Luke. Today we want to talk about the real estate video funnel course that we've developed and some of the benefits, some of the pitfalls that agents are in now, a lot of the questions and concerns that we get. But we just want to have a general discussion, and in this we hope to answer a lot of questions about the course, but this strategy also.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of feedback, and it's essentially, and this is why we brought the course out. It was essentially, we were getting real estate agents coming to us because they felt like they needed to get into social media. They didn't really know what social media advertising was, and how it would benefit them. They just knew that other people were doing it, or they were seeing other brands, they were seeing other industries do it, and being obviously the digital space, they thought, well, it just seemed like a natural progression for them to get into it. So, I mean, we were getting so much inquiry that Blake and I we just thought, well, there's a market here, because we were just getting inundated. Yeah. And that's why we put together this course. But I mean, with the course aside, like, we were just finding such a gap in the old methods of the way real estate agents used to, go out and lead generate to what they should be doing now, because it's all about the time leveraging. Correct. And being able to get out there and get a single message to as many people as possible. Because, I mean, a little bit about myself, I know a lot of people probably don't know this, but at one point I was the youngest real estate agent in Australia. I mean, you only found that out when we sort of started doing all this. And I used to door knock, I think my patch area was roughly about 1,500 homes. Yeah. And I knew back then, I mean, that was 2000, 2001, 2003, thereabouts. Yeah. And, all we had was door knocking, referrals, letterbox drops and cold calling. Yeah. And the cold calling was literally from RP data, finding out who had homes in the area, and then, because obviously we only had our patch area that we were allowed to touch on, and then just giving them a call at night time, and 9 out of 10 calls were just, I'm not selling or not interested, and so that's disheartening in itself. So, but I knew I had to get in front of these people in one point, whether it be a letterbox drop or a phone call or a door knock, and I just knew that the interaction had to be around 3 to 5 times. Now,
just on that though, I just want to jump in there. Like, that's not different to any old school sales process.
No,
that's any offline approach. Obviously, the tools and things that we have now are different, but to us, like something with real estate agents, someone who works in local proximity of what they're doing, who's got to build a profile. This strategy is just unbelievable for, and there's not too many professions. I think we've put it down to probably local real estate agents.
It's a real service-based.
And politicians. Yeah. Something you've got to build your profile on, but that's...
Because it's not a one-and-done sale. Because this isn't sort of a retail strategy that we've come up with. Yeah. It's more around that service-based, and you have to be seen first. And we've spoken about this before, about the power of brand awareness as your own profile, how important it is to be seen as the authoritative figure in your space. This space just happens to be
the AF.
The AF. And it does. And this space is the real estate industry.
It is. It is. Yeah. It's something that I think needs to be highlighted though, like everyone needs to understand this difference between push and pull marketing. Yeah. And right now you have the ability in the push realm, or in Facebook, push marketing is social media. People are there to bliss out. There's no intent. They're not there for anything apart to just chill out. And what you're essentially doing is you're pushing a message in front of them. So
you're disrupting their bliss.
Correct. And this is where a lot of businesses they're not taking advantage of that, or if they are, they're not doing it in the correct way. Yeah. The push marketing though, your money gets spent at the end of the day regardless. You're spending your money on impressions. It's not waiting for clicks and then you only pay on click, which is pull marketing. So you do have the ability with push marketing in most businesses to spend over and above. Like, it's ridiculous what you can actually spend. But the beautiful thing about real estate agents is that if you're servicing local suburbs, and only local suburbs, like maybe 3, 4, 5, however many you can manage, you can't overspend. You could spend $3 a day per suburb, reach 300 people with a message.
And why do you say 300 people?
So I say that because you can get a video view from as little as 1 cent. So that's what we've developed. Like, because all you're doing now, all businesses doing, is they're taking a conversation that they would generally have in a one-to-one or offline forum, and you're bringing it online. But you're bringing it online to where people are hanging out, which are these biggest social platforms, Facebook and Instagram. And this is where you're leveraging that conversation, and you're taking that one recording that you're doing, like what we are now. It's probably going to take us, I don't know, an hour or two or whatever to do this, chop it up, get it out there. And then this is there forever. But strategically, what we've developed for real estate agents, strategically using this, pushing it into these local suburbs, keeping your costs down, heightening your engagement, you build your local profile in these communities, and you become almost famous, or you become the AF, the authority figure. And when someone thinks to do something or sell a property, if you're the one that's been having the conversation with them where they hang out for the last 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months and so forth, who are they going to call? That's just how it works. But we've got a list of things that we want to go through. There's a couple of points that I want to cover off, because you had some really good stuff written down there, if we haven't already covered it off.
Yeah, because I mean, we've got...
What's the first?
The ability to... Well, the whole problem is the touch points for real estate agents. Real estate agents are finding it harder. This is the feedback we're getting. This isn't just out pie in the sky, just pulling it out of somewhere. We're actually getting the people on the floor, literally in the trenches, saying, we've gotten to a point where it's really hard for us to lead generate. And one of the biggest ones is, what can I do on social media? Because people don't even know what social media is, really, to get my message across or to get leads. Because at the end of the day, getting from point A to point B is, I don't have leads, and point B is, I've got leads. And that's what we try to do with the strategy that we came up with the course, was to bring people through and to lead generate almost as a tap. Because you do need to have that interaction rate, because like I said, when I was doing it, it was, you need to touch point about 3 to 5 times before someone would remember you, or they'd know even your name off, by heart. And now it's recorded statistically that you need at least 15 to 20 interactions. That's 10 times what it used to be because of saturation.
That's right.
And credibility. Because, I mean, anyone with a camera or anyone with, half a sense of what social media distribution can do can get on and push a message and become this AF or authority figure. But what we want to be able to do is not just become the authority figure, but have that credibility that goes with it. And that's what we try to teach. So the biggest thing we were finding out from real estate agents was getting that lead gen was becoming the problem. So that was one thing we wanted to touch on, which I think we've already done that.
And we're not disregarding any old platform or approach. Like every form of marketing still has its place, but it obviously comes down to cost.
And time.
And
usually you've got one or the other.
That's right.
Money or time.
That's right. And so this, still knocking on doors and letterbox drops and cold calling, they still work. We're not saying it doesn't work, but you factor your time into that versus how you can leverage a video now on social media. There is no comparison currently. That's with video views at 1 cent. So that's what I was saying before earlier, is that, that's not going to stay like that for long. And, when I mentioned before spending $3 a day, getting 300 views in one suburb, it's not going to stay like that. It's going to get more expensive.
I reckon there's probably about 2 years before this is not a past strategy, but a more expensive one. This is always, I believe, for at least the foreseeable future, it's going to be the number one way to engage in your local market, your suburb, your postcode.
Correct. But just on that, just covering off the reason why it's going to get more expensive is that, in the last 2 years, Facebook ad spend revenue has actually doubled. Which what it means, let's just say that everyone on Facebook now is there to stay. They're going to use it at the same rate they're using it now, right? But if the spend keeps increasing, it means that more companies want more ads to be seen, and they're going to become more competitive, spend more money. And what it's actually going to do, it's going to start pushing the little guys out. So now I was going to say, now's the perfect time to be advertising, with that sort of budget, $3 spend. And even in saying that, the reason that this real estate video funnels strategy is so amazing is because you're only your campaign is limited to suburbs, so it's still so defined.
You're looking at a 10 to 20,000, population or reach in that area anyway. It's not like you're trying to hit all of Australia of 22 million, or if you're overseas in the States, and it just increases your reach. Like, you are going to get to that 20,000 or 10,000 within a certain amount of days.
Yeah.
And Facebook doing what it does, optimizing to put it in front of the best person.
Yeah.
We just use our distribution channel and the way that we've broken down Facebook to get it there quicker and to the right person.
Yeah. Yeah. Correct. Even so even if it was at $1 a view, it's still going to be...
It's still ridiculously cheap.
You got to think about it. Would you pay to meet someone and have a conversation with them about what you do? Would you pay $1? So right now, it's 1 cent. It's 1 cent. And in the areas of the locations of where you want your listings.
Actually, that's a good segue into how it actually works. And regardless of our course or not, like, people need to be aware of how Facebook and these platforms target and retarget. And for video, now I know with this strategy that we've built, we can actually optimize for a percentage of the video watched.
Yeah.
Now that's really powerful when you think of, and that's another thing too that Facebook does. It likes to charge on impression, like you were saying, only.
Yeah.
There's a couple of little tips and tricks in the strategy in the course that show you, let's only get charged when someone's really engaging in your post, in your video. And we can find out when someone's watched 25%, 50%, 75 and 95 and target those people and essentially show only your message to the ones that are super interested. Yeah. And over time, Facebook picks up on that. It's like going to your RP data. That's what it was when I used to do it.
Yeah,
and
I think it still is.
It still is. And you can find out who are homeowners who live in the area. Yeah. And that's essentially what Facebook does. Like that. Before, you'd have to give them a call sometimes, and it's like, maybe the RP data is sort of out of date, which does happen. And at least with this, you're only targeting those who really want to listen to your message, because that's all Facebook wants to show it to show your message, which is the video. Yeah. And that's, I guess, what we're trying to talk about here, the importance of the video itself, and not just static imagery. Yeah. Because a lot of people just push out an image into Facebook. It just doesn't have the same oomph, and everyone, that's apart from, again, the course, that's another thing we wanted to talk about was the power of video. I mean, we've done a podcast on the power of video before. Yeah. And I mean, people are watching video, you've said it yourself, you're watching TV and you're watching your phone and you might have your PC going at the same time, all showing different versions of maybe the same ad. Yeah. Video, and it's incredible the data that Facebook picks up on you as well. Video,
the thing I like about video is that it connects message with brand and emotion. So a static image with text copy can only be perceived, it's very limited how it's perceived. But in a video, you can actually make it as long as you want. You can put music with it, you can evoke emotion, you can put message in through it. The message doesn't have to be verbal. It can be text that can pop up in the screen. And then brand, you can put brand, you can have an intro and outro, you can do so much more stuff with video. Plus now too, because we're coming into the era where, video is getting easier and easier to produce with devices and certain editing platforms and things like that. But I think when someone or a company or a business is doing a lot of video, it reflects good on their brand. Yeah. It's like, whoa, this is impressive. Especially if you take time with quality in producing it, it will reflect good because it's not the easiest. It's sort of stepping outside of the square, if you like, outside of the box and going, okay, yeah, cool. We're not just going to do a third-party image, static image push. We're going to actually take some time, give a shit, and we're going to create a video. It reflects really good on the brand. On that though too, because I know we've actually, with this course, we've had students come back to us and a lot of students get really scared and bogged down with the content. So I would say in that instance, and always, it's like, don't overthink it, don't overcomplicate it, because a lot of the time, the one thing that's stopping you from putting a video out is the fact that, I don't have content, or I can't think of new content, or the production. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, it's great to have a Hollywood style production, but the best thing about raw or a more raw video is the fact that it sort of gives that authenticity and sincerity. It does. And it's the market is ready for it now. But it always, the more Hollywood it is. Well, this is where
there is that fine
context, right? Like, so if you're building a company profile, and that's where quality, you've got to put quality into a company profile, because that's where if someone comes to your website and they see that something that's poorly produced and it's just
like
shot
a real estate agent saying who they are, what they do.
Yep. Look, obviously in the most ideal situation, having something properly produced is always the best. But for this instance, where we're talking about the property report as far as content goes, even if it is shot on a phone, you're still gonna need a lapel mic.
Yeah.
You're still gonna have to take some pride in holding a stable camera. We're not saying you can just use a phone now and it's like and you can just do whatever you want with it.
Yeah.
But you do have to take pride in what you're shooting. What we're saying is that you don't need a proper big production setup, and you don't need these fancy flash edits into the next frame. Like it can be still quite simple as long as the message
is received
and it's value.
You can't polish a turd.
That's right.
But that's it. Like if you've got the worst product but you doll it up, it's still the worst product.
That's right.
But if your message relates to your market, which like you were saying with the market report for the month, I know if I was looking to sell my house and I was in that frame of mind where I was actively looking, what could my house possibly sell for?
Yeah.
If someone put out a video that was like, houses in your area and specific to my area, I'm not just talking Gold Coast for us, I'm talking where I live, around the corner from where you live, and that's the power of this strategy too. It can just pinpoint, okay, Blake, you live in this small area, so this video is only going to you, and it says that this month's market analysis says that your house could possibly worth X, X, and X. I would be very interested to know if my frame of mind was, well, I'm getting ready to sell.
Yeah.
So, the seller's process usually is about 3 to 6 months, thereabouts, and you've sold a couple of homes yourself. It usually takes about the 3 to 6, up to 12 months before you've sold, put it on the market, good to go. But your actual, I'm looking to sell might start 3 months later, you put it on the market. And if you catch that person who's looking to sell, they're going to be watching these videos for a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
So then you can then bring them through your funnel that in 3 to 6 months time, they've seen so many of your videos or my videos or whoever's videos about, market appraisals, recently sold.
Yep.
They're going to see you as this AF, this authority figure, and go, you know what, I am looking to sell my house. I think it's time. I'm going to go get Blake because I've seen all his videos for the past 3 to 6 months. Now that's the power of this course and the strategy, and more so over the power of a distribution channel like Facebook.
Yeah.
And that push, because someone's not going to necessarily, if they're only in the start of the cycle, they're not really going to be on Google looking for what's sold in my area as much as as easily as it is for me to get a message on Facebook, what's sold in my area. Disrupt that.
Yeah, that's right. There will be a market there, right? Like it's yin and yang. You do have, so your pull marketing, someone could jump on Google, right? And something for the likes of, like, say, Rate My Agent will be buying top space to get prospects to click through. That's their pull marketing strategy in, right? So there is a market doing that. Yeah. But what we're saying is flip that on its head and go into the market.
It's the proactive.
Yeah, know the suburb that you're outlining. Talk to the suburb. Value add to that suburb. Think about all the questions that everyone has coming to sell. Should I renovate? Should I auction? Should I sell private treaty? What should I do? Right. So
and as a real estate agent,
and talk to them.
As a real estate agent, you should know all those questions. And if you sat down for 10 minutes, I'm sure you'd have your own frequently asked questions. There's your content right there.
Correct.
So, if you're pushing 1 to 3 of these videos out a week, and that's what you have to do. Your first video that you do, I know our first videos weren't the best.
Oh.
And I'll probably look back on this video in a year's time and say that this wasn't the best either.
That's right.
But the thing is, you get better over time. So you can't just throw one video out and expect it to work. It's a matter of content pushing, because one video might be, and that too, again, is something that we teach in the course, is how to look at the data once you've put the videos up.
Yeah.
What's good, what's bad, what you should turn on, what you should turn off, what you should double down on, because a lot of our students come through, I go into the back end of their ad account, which is something we offer as a semi-premium service, where I have a look at their account and say, look, why did you turn this one off? This had such good engagement. And then they didn't realize, I just spent that much and that was it. But then realizing that content worked and then duplicating it just in a different, maybe a different scenery.
Yeah.
Same content, different scenery, and then really capitalizing what works and what doesn't. But in order to get that data, you need to be throwing a lot out there. Yeah. And you don't necessarily have to go, oh, that works, that didn't work. It's just, it's a touch point. Like I said, these interaction and touch points, I mean, over time, you're going to be touching on that one person, you know, several times. So again, if they feel like, oh, I need to sell my house, who should I get to do it? I'm going to get Blake. I've seen him for the last 3 months. And the reason that is because, you know,
he's been adding value.
He's been adding
around
value.
Property, about my area.
Exactly.
For the last 3, 6, 12 months or whatever it is. I want to just talk about something you brought up for a minute there. About creating content and this overwhelming feeling. Like when we talk about this creating video, right? Everyone's like, oh yeah, cool, yeah, sweet. But when it comes down to rubber meets the road, this is where people overwhelm the process. And it's no different. We talk about it like going to the gym. If you've never created video content before for your business, you almost consider yourself as being morbidly obese. And then if a personal trainer coming to you and just going, hey mate, gym's up there, opens at 6 a.m. in the morning, you've got to go there. And then you turn up at the gym.
And then what?
And then you're probably not wearing the right stuff to begin with. And then you look around and you go, whoa, what the hell are all these metal machines and what do I do with them? And you've got no idea once you get put in that environment. So it's not enough. You do need something to sort of go, you need a program. You need a program to go, cool, I'm a real estate agent. These are the areas that I'm servicing. And this is exactly what I've got to talk about and do. This is my content schedule over the next coming weeks, 3, into months into the year. And you've got to create that plan until it just becomes a habit and you can have this conversation on camera with your market. And it's a completely new concept that it's baffling a lot of people, mainly the older generation.
Yeah.
Like for them to be able to come over into this digital space, it's a tricky and it's a hard move. The ones who can adapt quickest to this are going to win at the end of the day. You're going to get this young era of real estate agents that are going to come through that are used to communicating on device with everyone else, and it's going to be the norm. And that's just going to be the way of the future. So there will be this grey area in the middle, and this is what's bridging now. But my recommendation to anyone is get a camera, get a microphone. If you're passionate and enthusiastic about property or a particular market, start talking about it and start pushing it into the market. Where you really want to know how to refine your cost or get your best bang for buck, that's what this course is going to show you. Yeah. It's so you're doing it correctly.
And we also have that content piece in there where we help you along. There's a whole section in there and a whole module about content creation.
Yeah.
We've given you lists of ideas, we've given you how, lapel mics, all that sort of stuff that you might need to create these videos. And this course, like, not trying to sell it or anything, but I tried to make it
But we are.
But we are.
Yeah.
But the way that I built it was, can you turn a computer on?
Yeah.
Then that's the basic necessity.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are going, because they've got to learn not just to put up video, they've got to learn the Facebook ads platform. Like that in itself is quite an obstacle to surmount. And what I've tried to do is create a course, and what Blake and I have put together is this program that takes you from the most beginner.
I'll meet you at the gym.
That's
right. Go in here. Get on this bench. This is what you do. Yeah, and it steps you through. And me even just saying, my recommendation is to, get on camera, get a lapel mic, and start speaking.
That's so overwhelming.
It is, and that too is like.
What's a lapel mic?
Me being, it is. Me being ignorant like that. Go to the gym at 6 a.m. in the morning. Go in there. It's because I'm comfortable with doing it, and I've got a habit now where I know what I'm talking about. But for someone where you're listening to this, you're a real estate agent, and you're going,
huh?
Yeah, a lapel mic. What's a lapel mic? And what do I do? And how do I do
views, all of that stuff.
Yeah, it will walk you through that process and until it becomes easy, and it will get like Facebook, the ads platform, will evolve and get more. It'll get easier and easier and easier,
and it already has. Honestly, from when it first came out and we started using it, because we started using it from day dot as some of the beta testers for the ads platform. And now, from what it was, it's so much more user-friendly.
It is. But the window of opportunity, you mentioned it before, like, let's just say in 2 years' time, they've perfected it. So you can click, I'm a real estate agent.
Oh,
these are my suburbs. And this strategy is literally a blueprint inside of Facebook where it's click, click, boost.
And
right?
Look, it's coming.
It will come, but will it still be the cost that it is today?
Yeah, that's right.
And it won't be. It just won't be.
And that is one of the points here. It's the cost of what you're willing to get a lead for. Like, I don't know these days how much a lead would cost you in time and money in the real estate. Like, it's up there. Like, a lot of people have said, look, they're paying a lot of money. I'm not going to throw out figures, but they're paying a lot of money to get leads in their suburb. And what we want to be able to do is, I mean, because they're having to go to distribution channels that aren't right or wrong.
What do you mean by a distribution channel?
So a distribution channel meaning if you've got a message to get it out there, if you're around to be seen, and one of them is Rate My Agent or realestate.com.au or realestate.com. Domain, all of those. And what their distribution channels, because they're distributing your message or what you've got selling or etc. And I think feedback that we're getting is people are getting bogged down that they have to be on these things. They don't necessarily have to be, because they are quite costly. But what you can do is create your own distribution channel. That's what we want to do. We want to literally empower people to have their own distribution channel. And as marketers, we're expensive. I get that. For someone who's just starting in real estate or has been around and feels they're missing something, a real estate agent needs their own distribution. And they shouldn't have to go to marketing agencies like us and then pay our fees and still don't really know what's happening. Like, the empowerment of this strategy in this course, and it gives the power back to the real estate agent. Say, look, well, I can build my own distribution channel. And I can actually go and use this new platform that all us marketers are using, which is Facebook. And I can be the one that creates the content. I can be the one that distributes.
So powerful.
And it's not going to cost this monthly admin fee you might have to pay marketing agencies. And this is really for those who, even if you've got a PA, that's another thing we've sold. We've sold it to PAs of people who go, no, I don't want to learn that, but I'll get my PA to learn it, or my marketing exec in the office. They've learned it. Then they've passed the information on to the other agents in the office, or they've done their marketing based on our course, which is a really good sort of, for us, it's great to see that, because, they don't have to pay us. And it got to the point where we didn't even have enough time to take on individuals. So that was where this sort of, the course was birthed. It was like, well, what are we doing for these real estate agents to get them leads? Why can't we teach it to them? And for us, it's a scalable product.
But it's not only that, it's something too that is out of our hands and power too, because there's 3 parts to this course, right? It's understanding the parameters with targeting and knowing those specific target measures that you have to take to refine cost but increase engagement. The second one is understanding your video funnel and how that actually works.
Or what that is.
Correct. But the third one is agent conversation. And that's just something that doesn't matter how much money you pay anyone. To build your profile, you've got to be the one in front of the camera.
It's networking.
You've got to be the one having the conversation. That's you're building trust and credibility, and your value add has to come from yourself. So that's why, it doesn't matter. You can't come to us and say, here, look, I'll pay you $1 million a year. Run my course.
We'll take it.
But it won't work unless, the crucial element is that agent conversation. It's actually you getting on a camera and having the conversation. And then once we've got that, cool, you can distribute it. But then that's where this course will show you how to do it.
And brings them through. Because there's a point of contact that you actually lose someone who watches your message on Facebook. You can go out and put all the content out there, but is Blake going to see the same message or another message that I put out there simply because I threw content out? No. That's where you pull them through a funnel. You can't just say, I hope that Blake saw one of my messages and then Blake happens to see another. And that's what a lot of people do. And that's where a lot of money is wasted on Facebook, like boosting your ads on the front end of your Facebook page. And I mean, that even might sound foreign to you, and that's okay, because again, we teach you all of this in the course. But what people are doing is spending money unnecessarily for Facebook just to spend money. And I see it all the time. I'll go into the back end of it and I'm like, I see you boosted the post. And they're like, isn't that what you do? Isn't that Facebook ads? And sort of pees me off because Facebook, man, they're just taking your money. So that's why I was like, dude, we've got to do this. And knowing that you can target, retarget, use videos to get a message out, only show the next video to the person who's only seen a little bit of the first video, like, and bringing them through and seeing the costs and the leads go. You can tell that it's something that we've worked very hard on to get out. But it's because there was this gap in the market that real estate agents felt like they were being pushed out because of big pull marketing strategies like the realestate.com, like the Rate My Agent. These all just should complement your...
halve that budget, whatever you're paying realestate.com or domain or Rate My Agent, for you to have, you know, your profile on there for people to click through on you to get leads. Bring some of this budget. I'm not disregarding it, you know, and not rubbing those guys off, you know, because there's a market there, but there's this enormous market, which is, in my opinion, 100 times more powerful, and you've got to dedicate some of your budget. It is. And this is what I was actually going to say, is that if you're if you're the principal of a real estate agency, or if you are a real estate agent and you haven't bought your approach online and the market is starting to, you're going to see and you're going to be taken over by people that are on video. The coolest thing about this strategy is the opportunity which a new real estate agent kid that is sitting in the back of the room, you know, he's the one that you've been paying to do the letterbox drops and he's over it, but he's savvy with a camera, a mic, and he knows how to upload something onto Facebook, and he's done our course. The coolest thing is that this kid, if he wants listings in the most highest profile suburb that there is, wherever he is, he can start talking about it. He can do his due diligence, his research, which is the most important part. There's no shortcut to creating content. You've got to know your shit.
You've got to know your stuff.
You do. And at the end of the day, if he does, and he's doing that consistently over and over again, he's reporting and he's handling the concerns of the market and the questions, and he's addressing it, he's creating conversation, and he's doing it for 1 cent a video view, you don't think he's going to move in on your turf?
Bloody oath.
He absolutely will. And it's only going to be a matter of time.
And it will be a very quick decline in yours to his sales.
Exactly.
Like she's just going to surpass you because she was savvy enough. And this is the thing too. We've had people that have been in this for, I think we started about 6 months ago, and we had some foundational students that came in, and now 3 to 6 months later, after they've come through it, they're really saying, holy geez, I feel like a celebrity.
Yep.
Like I go down to my local IGA and someone will say, I saw a video.
Yeah.
That to me, and hearing that, like Blake and I have discussed how powerful that is for someone to feel like you're the number one. And it's like almost, you do have this celebrity status.
Yeah.
When you're seen enough on video in your local area, especially to those who, your demographic is generally probably in the 30 to 60 mark. I mean, that's quite broad, but people are looking to sell their home. And to be seen as a celebrity in your local area, which, might only be 10 to 20,000 people, to have someone come up.
And we're back. We were just talking way too much that I think the battery went flat. What happened? Did the battery go flat?
Yeah.
Battery went flat. So we're just...
Because we push out too much content, mate.
Too much, but not enough.
That's right. You can never have enough.
You can't. That's actually like a dream client for us, and it's a big reason why we don't recommend taking on clients, is this, because they can't keep up the amount of content that we need. And that's literally where you've got to be. It's more important to be creating content now than it is really. Like it should be treated as the priority. Media company first, and then whatever you sell will come second. And if you're just concentrating on a great tip on how, a way to think about your content for your business is, think about as all of your clients as fans, or your market as fans, and you've actually got a magazine to do. If you're an accountant, if you're a real estate agent, think about if you own a real estate magazine, how are you going to entertain, engage, and educate your market every month with the content that's in this magazine? No, it's no different right now. You just have the ability to be able to put it in on camera. But you've got to think about it month on month. You've got a plan. It's not like an editor of a magazine will just get to the day and just go, shit, what are we gonna put in this magazine?
That's right. They plan
months in advance.
That's
They got months in advance. They develop context in and around what they're talking about. There's certain sections to, you know, where it builds culture and expectation of what comes next. Or at the back of, you know, if you think about the way even a newspaper is, you know, what the back is the sport, the front is the headlines, like the context that they've developed to build a culture and expectation around what they're talking about or presenting. This is the same sort of thing with what you've got to do. But every month you've got to be thinking in advance, how are you going to educate? How are you going to engage this market that you want to talk to? It's being prepared, and it's knowing what you're going to create before it actually, you know, comes time to print or upload. And
that's the discipline of, you referred to, you know, we referred a lot to in the fitness industry, or, you know, someone having a program, because this is the new way. I mean, it has been for a little while now, of any business's way of lead generating is to become that authority figure, build credibility, because the market's so saturated with us having been inundated with information in the last 2 years, especially, we sort of get dull, or we get, you know, we become really blind to a lot of messaging that comes through Facebook or through Google or any of these platforms we now see. So for you to have discipline in putting that content out, not everything's going to be seen, and not everything's going to be received. So that's why it has to be a saturation on your behalf as content creators to get it into the market, because we are so inundated with information and all this other outside noise that you kind of have to stay disciplined, just like if you were in the fitness or trying to lose weight or whatever your goal was. You've got to go to the gym every day or every other day, and you've got to eat right. That's just what you have to do to get a lean, fit physique. You can't just do it once off and hope for the best. And that's the same with content creation for your brand. Or if it's a business, make it a long-term thing. You're going to plan a month out, like you said. You're going to go, okay, I'm going to produce videos, and we're going to be putting one out on Wednesdays and Fridays, even if it was 2 days a week. 2 pieces of content a week. I mean, we've got recommendations on how many you should put out, and if it was on me, I'd say, and if you could, I'd be putting out a piece of content every day. You know, even 2-3 times a day, because not everyone is on, you know, these channels or these distribution channels at the same time. So you need to have touch points throughout the day, even. And so that's the discipline of using a strategy, a discipline of using this social media as a platform, because it is the new way of lead generating, that you have to be consistent. Just like before, it was every month you'd send out an email, or every month you used to do a letterbox drop. Well, this is the new letterbox drop.
Build this in.
Content.
1 day a month.
Absolutely.
Sit in front of your camera.
And you're going to put out every Friday and pick your days. And absolutely. You're the boss of you, so you don't cancel your own meetings. So you have to make sure that content's out. No matter what the content is.
And something else I'm also compelled to say is that, you know, when we deliver this content and this message around this course, you know, we do get pushback from the old school or the old ducks in the game, because, you know, it is scary. So foreign and scary. And, you know, and they think, oh, I don't present well on a camera. Everyone thinks they don't present well on a camera. But I can guarantee you, once you start, you know, it's something that will evolve and you will develop, and it will get better. It will get better and better. But
the message.
That's right. But also too, like, there are, you know, let's just say that there were 10 agents all doing this strategy in the one suburb. You know, is there a space for all those 10? Yes, there is, because they're all different personalities. And again, all you're doing is you're leveraging that conversation. If I had 10 agents come and knock on my door, there's going to be some of those that I don't like. And there's going to be some that I do. And then it just becomes a game of volume, who's doing it most, and just being honest and just being yourself on a camera. And it will come across, it will connect. And if you're adding value, you will win. Like that's it.
So you know, look, we do have this course if you're interested. Just view one of the links around this post. But look, at the end of the day, it's all about trying to leverage that message as best and as quickly as you can to your market. Because I know that was my biggest problem. It was getting around my patch area when I was a real estate agent as quickly as I could. You know, this is like door knocking 1,000 homes in one afternoon.
So on that note, if you guys have any questions, just fire up the comment feed, and or if there's anything that specifically around this that you'd like us to talk about, we love talking about this topic. It's something that we're very passionate about. Yeah, so hit us up in the comment feed, and yeah, we'll catch you soon. Adios.